Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. My name's Graham Gordon Thomas, and I'm trying to give some clarification to some of the things that are on the net that are in general conversation that basically don't make that much sense. There's a lady called Jane Goodall who spent a lot of time with the chimpanzees and not much time with humans. She assumes that the way chimpanzees are the way humans are, when in some ways they are similar, but they're not the same. But the thing she's missing about the chimpanzees, which relates to humans, is the way females choose the best male to produce then a better offspring, which then gives genes a better chance of survival into the future. She totally misses that in then expecting or relating that to human population growth and the fact that people all desire the same sort of lifestyle that Jane Goodall has, which is to fly around the world 300 times a year and to go and have all that luxury on the ability, financial ability, to be able to do that. To be able to go and fly on planes 300 days a year is an enormous lot of money. If it's $1,000 per journey, that's a lot of money just for one person. And then the lady says, well, meaning that she is, oh, we have to tell the people of the third world not to expect to have as much as what we have. In other words, she's just a very selfish woman. She's not setting an example of saying, oh, I'm going to show you by living in a small hut somewhere that I'm going to set the example of how a person can live and have a happy life. She's going to tell people how to live, and it's very dangerous when this comes about, this situation where certain people think they're elite. They can have a very, very wealthy life, a life of luxury and celebrity, and yet they're saying you cannot aspire to the same life as me. And when it comes to global population growth, as this lady is so concerned about, there are too many people. This should be of a great concern to any humanist, to anyone who cares about society whatsoever, that when people start saying there are too many people, then it becomes a very dangerous catch-cry. There are too many people, too many of which person thinks they're surplus to the needs of themselves and the human population. Now, if you say there are too many people, what are you actually saying? You feel overcrowded, you feel you haven't got enough room to move around in. The world's a very large place. You fly over it and most of it is empty. People live in cities and villages and towns. The problem with the growth of population isn't the growth of population itself. It's three main things as I see it. Is one, be able to feed them without degrading the land and the environment. That's the number one challenge. Stopping all pollution into the oceans and rivers and the waters is a priority. Be able to build situations and living standards that give people a decent lifestyle is a third one. For certain people to come along and say some people should have less than them goes against everything that evolution tells us what the priorities of the beings are to improve the outcomes of each and every individual. in evolution, no individual is more important than the other, or than what the females choose to breed with, through the mitochondria being the guiding force from Eve, if you like, or whoever it was who was the first female. The guiding force from that has been the mitochondria in the ladies choosing the better men. So women now choose the wealthier guy if they can. There aren't many women choosing poorer guys. When women start choosing poorer guys, then we can say, well, maybe there's something wrong with their way of thinking. Because women choose a wealthier guy, that means wealthy guys must create more and more wealth in this competition for women. Women are creating the need for more and more material goods and bigger houses, because the competition is set up in men like it is in peacocks, or in all male species. They must look like they've got more valuable assets to the females to attract them to breed with. There's no way that you can stop that unless you get into a thing called eugenics, or social Darwinism, the evil that America lives by, where you don't care about the poor or anything. So when people say, like Jane Goodall, oh, we must reduce the world's population, and many people are saying that, it's a very, very dangerous thing to say. Then they relate it to climate change, and it's got nothing to do with climate change whatsoever. It's just something to do with, when people say, oh, there are too many people in the world, that's a psychological problem they have. That's all you're identifying. When they say that, oh, too many people, it's a psychological problem they have. They've got sort of some antisocial phobia, or whatever it is, about people themselves. Which may explain why Jane Goodall spends more time with chimpanzees than she has with humans. She may prefer the company. I understand that. I like the company of cats. So we all have our own preference when it comes to species that keeps us company. But nonetheless, I have no fear of being more people. If you go to China, there's cities with millions of people, all very quiet, seem to be reasonably happy. We're not saying we need to be less of us. We need to be less of us. So be warned about anyone who says we need to reduce the world's population. It's an extremely dangerous road to go down. That's what the Nazis began. And so when you start saying that and it starts propagating into society, you know that some people, it may become political, and it becomes dangerous, and becomes a political force to eliminate those people that they say is lesser than them. It's a form of eugenics. Those who say that we need less people in the world and relate that to climate change, it is a new form of eugenics suddenly coming and being propagated, because one suspects it's all run by what you call evolved Nazis anyway, but they're using more advanced means of gaining the goals they want to control the world, to control the world's population, through propagating the idea that there's too many people and they're causing climate change. No, they're not. That's all rubbish. There are only problems to solve. Stopping polluting the oceans is one, being able to feed people without degrading the land is another, and creating an idea of wealth that satisfies that the male need to keep the woman happy through a child rearing and child nurturing days. Those are things that need to be considered, because there aren't too many people in the world, because you never know when a comet's going to hit, you never know when an ice age is going to come, you never know when some great disaster is going to come, like it has extinction events come on and on and on. that will wipe out naturally, without any help from wars or anyone, that will wipe out naturally much of the world's population in time. There'll be a natural adjustment, like an ice age, more than likely, more than anything else. This is just simple historical facts tell you the truth. There's no urgency about the world's population. The people who are saying that there is are dangerous. Thank you.